Hi, and welcome to Behind the Scenes with Axiom Medical. I'm your host, Jason McElwainey. If this is your first time joining us, this is behind the curtains kind of look at the people at Axiom Medical that make this company tick. We go every 2 weeks. We interview someone from a different department, someone from a different walk of life, and get to know who they are and how they ended up here. So for this week, I have Melissa Jimenez from the Human Resources team. How are you, Melissa?
Good, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm fantastic. I'm fantastic. So
Awesome.
I understand that you recently joined us about 4 months ago. Is that correct?
Yes, I joined right after 4th of July weekend.
Oh my! Well, welcome to the team. We're happy to have you.
Thank you.
Um, so, just if you could, introduce yourself, who you are, where you're from, that type of stuff.
Okay. So my name is Melissa Jimenez. I'm the HR generalist here at Axiom. I do basically employee relations, offboarding, coaching, performance discussions. That's my kind of day-to-day basis. I was born in Dallas, but I grew up in Katy. So I am originally a Houston native. I went to U of H Clear Lake U of H Maine to get my Bachelor's of Science in Human Resource Development, and I am currently enrolled in my master's program for Human Resource Management, which I'll be graduating this May coming up.
Fantastic! That's amazing. We talked earlier about HRM, and that's what you're studying, and we're members of SHRM, shortened to SHRM, and
Yeah.
your executive Chuck Cable is currently speaking. Well, was speaking at the SHRM meeting earlier. So, tell us a little bit about your department and what it is you like about Axiom Medical.
So I fell into this role. It was an opportunity that was open up. I interviewed with Stacy, and it was something that interested me. It's a field. I feel like HR is something that you can go in so many directions. There's so many ways that you can open your career as a professional. To me, it's a new experience. Definitely coming into a more of a medical industry. I was used more to the oil and gas industry, but it's definitely been an experience that I've enjoyed working with Axiom. My colleagues are all wonderful. If any employees ever feel like reaching out, I always let them know, like, hey, it's an open door policy. I am only a Teams message away, or an email, or a phone call. And I like that support from our team, that we're always available for our employees at any time.
That's great. And you talk about it, you can kind of go in any direction. And for those of you that are watching, saw any of our past episodes with Tony DeLitta, a longtime Axiom employee. He was formerly in HR, and he did a few different positions in that. And now he's running our vaccine team for the company, which is fantastic. So plenty of space to move up and move around. That's for sure. So you mentioned that you're from Dallas, but you grew up in the Houston area. So I imagine that presents some sort of rifts among sports fans with you and maybe possibly your family. Is that true?
Yes, I was mentioning to you. So I was born in Dallas, and my dad is like a big football fan. And so when we have our barbecues, when it's football season, it's like one team sits with the Cowboys, and then whoever's Texan sits at the Texans side. Our family is basically divided because my mom's at like Houston and my dad's like Cowboys. I think there's a picture. I haven't been able to locate it. There's a picture of my son when he was a baby, where he literally has a jersey that's half Cowboy and half Texans. Of course, like my heart's broken. Like, mine's like in between with both of them. I'm a big Astros fan. Football is not really my sport, even though I did grow up in a town where football is everything, because I went to Katy High School. So Katy High School is like one of the biggest things here. Their football, that's what they live and bleed, football. And basically, also, my brother was in the football team for Katy High School. So this year.
Yeah, that's great. I imagine it would cause some problems. The Cowboys and Texans fans are very rabid, like a lot of other football fans are rabid, but there's definitely a love-hate relationship between the two cities. And a
Yes.
tough game last night by the Astros, that's for sure.
Yeah. That was very stressful. I was like, ah. I
Yeah.
was biting my nails, just during the whole game. I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "I just need to stop watching it." So
Yeah, it's
yeah,
a tough one. Would have rather them win at home this time, but it
Yes.
just wasn't in the cards. Oddly enough, a friend of mine gave me a Jose Altuve bobblehead, and the head of the Altuve bobblehead fell off last night. So that's
Oh,
another
that was a
mistake.
sign.
Yeah, for sure. So tell us a little bit about your role in the company, and what you're looking to do in the future, what you're looking to do with your HRM masters, and where you see yourself going.
So currently, I mean, I'm still at a very early age. I'm a first generation graduate, actually. So I come from a very close Mexican Panamanian family. I have my dad's Panamanian, but my parents are, I was more raised more Mexican. Um, and it's definitely we're very close knitted. It's very like, okay, I was the first, I'm the oldest of three, so I'm the first one to go to college. I was basically my parents guinea pig. Like, they didn't have college savings funds, anything for us, because they didn't know. They were like, they're living the American dream, go to college, find a way yourself out there. So I was basically my parents guinea pig and set the foot for my siblings. We're all 5 years apart, so between the youngest and the oldest, there's 11 years apart. So he graduates this year from Katy High School. And it was definitely, to me, it was like, oh, like, my parents never saved up for college. I didn't know what FAFSA was. I didn't know what scholarships, grants. Luckily, I was very blessed. I didn't know what I wanted to go to college for, but I know I had to go to college because that was my parents' expectations. And college, they didn't understand that college is not for everybody, but luckily it was for me. So I went to Lone Star, did my community college. I took all the classes that you could. So I got an Associates of Arts, Associates of Business, Associates of Science. So like, they were like, my advisor was like, you need to like transfer and get an actual bachelor's. So I transferred to U of H Maine, and I didn't know what I want to do. I still didn't know. I was like, but you need to declare a major. So I was like, oh, well, I was working at a staffing agency at the time. I was like, I kind of do like staffing. And so I like that HR stuff. So maybe anything that's along those lines, like, And so the advisor was like, oh, well, anything like, I guess he didn't know either at the time. He just put me in an HRD degree plan. And so I was thinking in my mind, HR management, that's what I want to do. When I went into my degree, it was human resource development, so which is more of the coaching, more of the training, needs analysis for organizations. Even though my experience was in HRM, and so like on my second semester, I was like, this is not really what I see on an everyday basis. But I was like, okay, I already spent this much money. My parents are not going to be happy if I drop school. So I went ahead and went through it. Most of my experience has been HR management, and I enjoyed, I say it was a blessing in disguise. I fell into my career, into my degree path. That's what it was. Somebody else chose it for me, but I just learned to love my career and just be able to grow. So I wasn't able to start my master's right away after undergrad, because I had my son, and so I needed some time to enjoy him and just have more time with him. So I started my master's when he was a little bit older, about to graduate, and I was like, well, I need to finish before he starts first grade, because then he's gonna have baseball practice, softball, soccer practice, because he's more. My family's all very sports oriented, and I'm the only person that does not do sports. Like, I am the last person. I will not go work out, even if it's a family fun time. Like, I was just like, no, I'll prepare the lunches and snacks, and that's the type of person I am. So I plan to like still learn. I think I have a great HR manager, a great team. Amongst my team members that I can learn a lot from, and I'm continuously growing and learning. And this is just Action's been just a great opportunity for me to be able to grasp more knowledge in the HR realm, and just grow. Like, there's so many ways, like I mentioned before, you can go. With that degree, like, you can go into employee relations, you can go into benefits, you can go into um, anything related to onboarding, offboarding, chemical screens. And then, just because so much legislation's passing by now with COVID, it kind of keeps you on your toes. And that's something that I always need, because I was telling you, I get distracted very easily. So something that always encourages me as a first generation graduate was always like, the eager to learn and educate my family and educate myself to learn more about what's going on, why it explains, why it translates to this, or how and how is it used in the workforce. So I think mostly I've used it for my knowledge. In the future, I probably see my in 5 years, like I want to definitely move into a managerial role or something more more in a more of a senior role. But right now, I think it's still a learning time for me.
That's great. Yeah, constantly trying to learn things, learn new things, and challenge yourself is a fantastic trait for anyone to have. Now, you mentioned in the middle of that workouts, but I understand that you have just started to try CrossFit. Is that true?
Yes, I just started that. I started working out because I needed to work out because like I mentioned, I'm not the most athletic person in my family. Everybody in my family has a sport that they do and they enjoy. My brother, of course, he did football and does weightlifting, and he was my workout buddy for a while. And then my master's program just got really hectic, busy, and I we couldn't keep up on the same schedule. So I had to try something where I felt somebody was motivating and pushing me because if it was me, I was like, oh, I did 3 push-ups and I'm done. So I had to have somebody like kind of push me to my limit, and so I signed up for CrossFit and do too because I also have one of my cousins that's getting married, and it's the first time that I go to Panama, so I also want to make sure I'm in shape for that.
Yeah, I know that problem. I'm getting married myself in April, and
Oh, congrats!
oh, thank you. Got to get on that. Got to get that wedding weight down.
Yeah.
It's a struggle. So, what do you do for fun besides study like crazy, work like crazy? You have a fantastic son, and if people out there haven't seen the post on our LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter accounts, we shared some photos of Melissa about a month and a half ago. Go check them out; they're fantastic. So, what else do you do for fun?
I liked so I guess my relief stress was for me during COVID. Uh, it was mainly like just dancing. Like I love dancing. Like you put any type of music and I will dance. And I don't it was growing up especially for him Hispanic culture, music is very like in trying into our culture. It's like you do it for everything. I mean, we would clean with music and dancing and you're mopping and cleaning. And I'm not talking about like, oh, salsa. Like you were dancing to Mexican mariachi music. My father was like big southern person, so it's like banda, they call it, like it's a big 18-person band
Oh wow.
music. So I inherited all of the combination of the culture as I grew. Of course, you grow your own taste of music and what you like, and I was like, well, I like more like country and I like this. So I love enjoy dancing. I mean, everything to me is dancing. Like if I'm walking, if I'm eating like it to me, it's funny because my brother-in-law pointed out to me, he's like, do you realize that when you're cooking or when you're eating, you start dancing, like you get very happy about like everything. When you're happy, you start dancing. And he's like, I'm like, you know what, like I think that's like my unwind, like my stress, like this is how I like relieve my stress, and it's dancing. And as a matter of fact, we just went out dancing. A couple of friends and I, we gathered at one of our friends' house, and we're like, hey, let's just dance. And we're just kind of barbecued and dance in the garage. So I truly enjoy dancing. I think that's one of my biggest things. And it's funny because yesterday I was cleaning my kitchen, and my son literally got on the island table and he was like, he was dancing he was dancing on the kitchen island. I was like, okay, yeah, he's inherited also probably my craziness as well for dancing.
That's hilarious. That's funny. I'm like that way, but with singing weird things, and my fiance is probably tired of it. But I'll just sing weird songs that I'll just make up out of the top of my head, like singing to my dogs or singing about taking the garbage out. Yeah, it's definitely a stress reliever. So, one last question. This is an
Yes.
odd one, but let's
Okay.
say you're given $10 million. What would you do?
$10 million. Oh, I think I would save for my son's college, something that my parents didn't do for me, and probably go on a nice vacation on like just, my we do everything in family. So again, like I come from a very close type. So probably my parents, my siblings, and we would go on vacation. That's probably what I would do. And definitely, I'm a big advocate for single moms. So I volunteer with my church for we have what's called St. Gabriel's Project. So I enjoy doing that too.
Fantastic. That's amazing. Well, anything else that you want to share with us?
Nothing. I think I've had a couple of questions where some employees reach out and they're like, "Oh, nice to meet you," and I just wanted to make sure they were able to get a face behind the voice sometimes, because sometimes our camera is not on or they're not at where they can turn on their camera. So I just wanted to make sure, if they need anything HR related, we're here to assist in any way that we can, and then we have an open door policy for all our employees.
Fantastic. Great way to close it. Well, thank you, Melissa. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with me today, and I hope you have a great rest of your week and take care.
All right, enjoy the rest of your week.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I lost you.